Okay, everyone. Good morning on this last day of 2018. My name is Ryan Ellis with the National Weather Service in Raleigh with the Weekly Impact Weather Briefing for Central North Carolina, covering the period Monday through Sunday, December 31st through January 6th. This week's weather pattern is shaping up to be fairly interesting. Early in the week here, as you can see, dreary conditions to start as this low pressure system moves through New England. As it does so, it's going to move off to the east fairly quickly and drag a cold front through the area. But as it does, it kind of leaves the cold front behind, so a lot of the energy associated with the low kind of goes away. And so what you have is the effect of this dying cold front as it kind of slowly meanders through the state. So what you see is kind of what you get. Very light rain, dreary conditions, not a lot of heavy rainfall associated with this at all. And that actually would be fairly good news, especially as we get into later this afternoon and into the evening for New Year's Eve activities. Shouldn't be too bad out there. And we will keep an eye on things as they move across, but only expect some light rain, light showers as this comes through. And then as we get into the middle part of the week, a little bit of a lull, especially if you're across the northern tier. As we get into Wednesday or so, you could be fairly dry the entire day. As the front that does come across, you can see in this top right panel, settles south of the area and kind of stalls out. If you're in the southern tier, you could be affected by some light rain on and off through Tuesday and Wednesday. But overall, not a washout by any means. Later in the week, for Thursday and Friday, we definitely get more interesting as a low-pressure system comes out of the Gulf and up through the Carolinas and into the Northeast. And as it does so, it's going to bring a period of heavier rain probably to the area, especially if you're in the western part of the forecast area, so the Triad, and points westward. Could get a fair amount of rain out of the system. But the good news is it is expected to be all rain as temperatures remain very warm for this time of year. And then for the weekend, very good news as all these systems move out, high pressure moves in, and we should be dry, sunny, and pretty mild for this time of year for the weekend. So to dial that down a little bit, especially for these activities tonight, here's an idea of what the radar might look like. You can see as we get into 6 p.m., very scattered showers around, kind of hard to pin down where exactly they may be. And then as we get towards midnight, as the front becomes a little bit closer to the area, we will see some more rain come into the southern tier. And so that could have an effect on things in those counties really close to midnight. But as people are clearing out of whatever event they're at, we could see some of that rain pick up a little bit. But this model here, the rainfall it's showing for 3 a.m. may be a little bit overdone. So consider that a worst case scenario. We do not see any thunder with this at all. Certainly, again, a lot of that energy with that system is moved off to the northeast. And so you see here for day one, the mountains, perhaps, as this thing is moving by, could see an isolated lightning strike or two, but certainly not a very high likelihood of that occurring. And if you're points east across our entire forecast area, it's pretty much not going to happen. Same thing going into Tuesday and Wednesday, again, as this front comes across and stalls south of the area, just no instability with it, so we don't expect much in the way of any kind of storm activity. We will see very interesting temperatures, especially tomorrow, to ring in the new year. Very, very warm across the area. You will not feel like it's January outside at all, as normal temperatures for this time of year in Raleigh are about 53 degrees or so. So we could be pushing 20 degrees above normal in some spots, certainly 15 degrees above normal. So, keep your coat in the closet for the first day of January. Here's a look at the rainfall broken down across the week. This is the Weather Prediction Center forecast up in Washington. And you can see today there most of the rainfall activity in the west, then a little bit of a lull. Wednesday's forecast there, I think, is pretty overdone. I think that that will be likely less than what you see there, if any at all. So sorry about that. Yeah, so we'll look more towards Thursday and Friday for the bulk of our rainfall. And you can see there that amounts in the western part of the state push an inch. And then Saturday and Sunday, of course, dry. So looking for the first 3 days here, this is a statewide map of the rainfall totals through 3 days. So certainly those concerns out in the mountains a little bit. But as we get towards central North Carolina, about a half an inch, give or take, for the next 3 days. And some places may not see that. If you like these maps, they are an experimental product. You can see some of the other things we have out there by visiting this website here at the bottom, weather.gov/RA/NC, and you can see some of those products there. So to talk about some of the rivers, not much of a response from the rivers with this rainfall. However, we do still have the Roanoke River is in minor flood at both Roanoke Rapids and Scotland Neck, both of those in Halifax County. And you can see there some of this is due to releases upstream. You can see very constant hydrograph there, so that will continue for some time. And also due to releases upstream, we do have a little bit of a concern for minor flooding on the Neuse at Smithfield only. The other points at Clayton and Goldsboro should not be affected. Some of this is due to the rain this week, but a lot of it is due to upstream releases. Looking ahead, the warm trend kind of continues for the 8 to 14 day period, as you can see with above normal temperatures on the left. And then equal chances to slightly below normal precipitation outlook. So warm and dry forecast, at least for the first half of January, which is fairly good news, especially for those places that are a little bit soggy at this point. To sum it all up, New Year's Eve should be largely okay. A little bit dreary, some isolated showers in the evening, and then wet to start the new year, but not a washout for most of the week. Most of the rain will occur with that late week system. Sunny and pleasant for the weekend, and of course we've got the minor flooding concerns on the river. But other than that, if you have any questions, type them in below. Otherwise, have a happy new year and a great start to your January in 2019.